Hey Mia, say hi to your future self.
Hi, future me. Have fun editing this.
Anyways, hello everybody. Welcome to the first Chat Fox podcast. My name is Strattori, and I almost said my real name, but you all know my real name. So hi, I'm Elaine or Zen. I haven't decided yet. Mia, introduce yourself. Who are you? Where are you from? Where can we find you?
Hi, I'm Mia. I do a show called Big Wow Big, and that's really just about the only place that you can find me these days.
I'm gonna
I
rewrite
got
that.
an email from Twitch the other day.
Oh yeah.
Every time that I subscribe to somebody, I always set it like do not automatically refresh because I don't know where my money's gonna be at the end of the month.
Right. Same here.
But then even though no matter how many times I tell it do not automatically renew, it'll still have one that'll somehow still be automatically renewing. And so I got the email. It's just like, your sub is going to be refreshing on June whatever the fuck. And I was like, oh god, no, I probably gotta cancel that. I don't know who that's to. And then I saw that it was you, and I was like, I'll leave it.
Aw, thank you.
Everything else gets canceled though.
Aw, I appreciate it. I mean, that money is going right back to you anyways, so you know.
Yeah.
You're really
That's
just
what I'm
paying
saying.
yourself.
It's the rewards card.
All right. So, today's topic. I'm going to start talking. Fuck waiting for people to come in. Normally I wait 10 minutes. Fuck it. This is more for YouTube anyways. So,
Take this time for us.
yeah, this is just for me.
Take
and
this
you.
time for yourself.
No. It's just me and you. There's no one else in the world, Mia. It's just me and you. Very romantic. I know. Ship art. Keep it coming. I need some ship art. This is Chatty Fox. This is a new podcast I'm bringing along where I really just talk about shit I feel like people should be educated on. Because my whole thing is education and all that good shit. And sometimes we ask questions that maybe people don't want to answer, and that's fine. But we'll see how it goes.
We are going to be bordering uncomfortability.
So yes, if you have any triggers or anything, today we'll be talking about LGBT, more focused on trans, but in general LGBTQ. Myself, I identify as non-binary. They, them is my preferred pronouns. I am also pansexual and maybe borderline asexual. Still questioning on that point. Mia, would you like to introduce that part of yourself?
Yeah. I'm trans. That's just about it for that category. And I am also pan.
Hey, let's go date some
Yeah.
pans together.
Which is very sad because I used to define a lot of my brand with like as gay and a lot of that. But I don't identify that way anymore, and that's where like a lot of my marketing used to be.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, fucking. That's
A lot of my
thing.
old branding.
Well, that's the thing I want to tell people. Like the main part of being LGBTQ. I mean, it's not the main part. The main part is being who you are. But like, don't worry about being older. Like, especially for the older folks. Like when I came out as non-binary, I was 25, and I was like,
Wow.
oh shit. Is people gonna think that I'm just trying to do this for clout or shit? I'm like, no, I'm just doing this because I felt this way and I feel like it'd be comfortable. Sexuality and gender and shit like that is a whole lifetime experience.
Yeah, some people don't know until they're like 75.
Yeah, and that's okay. Like, don't feel like you have to be pressured to know exactly who you are. That's why the Q is there. Yeah, don't be afraid to, no matter what age you are, you know? Don't be afraid to be who you are. Like, shit. I came out as non-binary literally this year. Maybe last year. I don't know. Mia, you were there. I don't remember.
Was I there?
I didn't come out like big fucking flags rolling. I was just like, yeah, I prefer they, them. I think Ash was the first person I ever told.
Probably.
Me and Ash are very deeply bonded.
Bound to the soul.
Yeah, we've got our Persona League fucking max. Like how we're talking about Ash. She's not even here. I see how it is, Ash. Calling you out on YouTube.
Yeah.
What the hell? Big Wow Big, I'm coming for you.
That is one quite difficult thing as a part of the LGBT experience, is that it's very open to change, and like your identity is constantly open to change, but it's always so difficult after you've already come out once and you've made your public kind of standing as one form of identity, and then you figure out later on it's like, oh, I don't identify that way anymore.
Yeah.
And then you have to change everything, or it's just like, no, just fix it.
Yeah, fix it, shit, burn it to the ground, delete the evidence.
Update the Wikipedia.
Man, so when I came out, so this is basically going to be me interviewing you and me and you side chatting basically. So when I came out as pansexual, that was when I was in my toxic relationship. And he did not see the big deal as to why I was coming out when we were in a relationship. And I was like, it's not because I'm gonna cheat on you or anything. I just, it's just my preference. Like, what the hell? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Because he didn't see the need of coming out. And I was like, it's not like a fucking throwing rainbow flags and going, hey, look, I like everyone. Fuck you. Like, no, I was just like, I want people to know who I am. And if they do not accept who I am, they need to get the fuck out. Like, that was the main reason why I did it. Because I didn't want people to be assholes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this leads me into a good question that I had. So what are your thoughts on labeling, like LGBT in general?
I think labels are good for people who want them.
Yeah, because like me personally, I don't really care for labels. I think that's another reason why I like non-binary, because I just don't think they're necessary. I think you're who you are. I don't think you need to be labeled unless you're you want to be. Obviously, it's whatever you want.
I've had my bio on TikTok for like the past half a year has just read LGBT something or other.
I think labels are interesting because I think at one point, I don't know, for me it's like they seem like they stick you to a stereotype, you know what I mean? For labels, for me, I feel like they're so entrapping. Especially with what we just talked about, where it's like you come out as this specific sexuality, and then later on you realize you're not this sexuality. But if you didn't label it in the first place, you know what I mean?
I think labels are like a cheap sticker. That if you want that sticker to be on something forever, then you don't peel back that sticker. But if you need to peel that sticker, you're going to be scraping the residue off of that wall for years.
That is a good fucking analogy. Holy shit. I had a friend spend a whole year saying they're trans, then non-binary, and then coming to a conclusion that they're just a guy is just feminine. Yeah, and that's chill. Like, I mean, I say I'm non-binary, but I dress differently every day. Where it's like, sometimes I feel like I'm feminine, sometimes I feel like I'm more masculine, and sometimes I just feel like I exist. And it's so weird, being non-binary. Because it's so hard for me to explain, because it's like, I don't want boobs. And I don't want my genitalia either. I just want to be a blank slate. You know what I mean? I guess that's kind of my thing. It's just like I just want to be blank slate. Like I don't want the label. I don't want anything like that. I just want to be existent.
I know for certain that I want boobas.
You can have mine. I'll happily give you mine if I could. I fucking would. They're not worth the back pain. Let me tell you, man. I just cannot with boobs. I cannot.
I can't tell you how many different people I've talked to before that have been born with boobas, that every time I bring it up, they're just like, take mine!
Yeah, fucking, I would give them to you in a fucking heartbeat. I have double D's, so the back pain, not worth it. And let me tell you.
So has everybody else that's ever offered me.
Let me tell you, man. It's just like, come on. Like, get on. I don't even get to lay on them. So many people are like, well, you get to lay on. I'm like, no. That's not how your neck works, dummy. So my first question is what is transgender for people who don't know?
Transgender, it just basically means that you do not go by or do not associate with the gender that you were assigned at birth. The opposite of that being cisgender, which means that you do align with the gender you were assigned at birth.
That's really good, because for the longest time I really didn't know what cisgender meant. I would see TikToks and I was like, the fuck does that mean? What is this? Google search, help!
This is fucking old language shit that we just throw in the front and backs of words.
I was having a really good adult... So this is another thing that I want with this podcast, is even if people don't agree, I just want to have an adult conversation, Like, I was talking to a coworker who I don't know what their views on our LGBT or religion or anything. I was just fucking ranting. And we were talking about how when I'm very open about my sexuality now, where I've walked to the street and people know that I'm LGBT, and they take their kid and go on the other side, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Rub the gay on you? Like, yeah. Like, what am I, a pit bull? Like, Jesus Christ, I understand when Peach is walking next to me, she looks kind of intimidating when she's not in her clothes, but it's like, the fuck am I gonna do? Give you the gay? Like, here you go.
They just see you rolling down the street as if you're just like a grim reaper with like a black smog flowing out from you, just like, honey, stay away, they'll steal your gender.
Right? Like, Jesus. God, I can't tell you when I first went out. So I got a wig because I didn't want to fully commit to cutting my hair because sometimes I feel, like I said, sometimes I feel more feminine, sometimes I feel masculine, sometimes I feel neither. So I bought a wig that I could style and change my hair into more of a masculine style. And I put that on for the first time, and the looks I got in my neighborhood. Let me tell you, I live in a small Republican town.
Oof.
I'm also the same bitch who fucking runs around the street with a goddamn rainbow flag, like, fuck you! I also dare any of them to come at me with my fucking 50-pound pit bull who's broken a bat before. Smile.
Oh my god, that dog is so fucking cute.
Well, it's so funny. So many people are scared to pet Peach because, pit bull. And Charlie's the one who's gonna bite the fuck out of you with his 4 teeth.
There's so much, like, nasty, like, superstition with animals these days for certain breeds like that.
So let me tell you, this actually kind of remotes into the LGBT conversation and me being able to talk about Peach. So do you remember when anti-LGBT day was, where assholes were deciding that they were going to just be awful to LGBT people?
Oh, yeah.
So my neighborhood was a part of that.
Oh, no.
I was walking Peach. Somebody came at me with a fucking bat. Little did they know that Peach actually gives a fuck about me.
Yeah.
Bit Charlie and Peach in unison. Peach tripped him. Charlie bit his ankle. He fell down. Peach grabbed the bat, snapped it in half, went over and hovered over his throat like, bitch, I dare you.
That is a powerful dog.
Well, she's got the bite force of some... Oh. But anyways, the police come. Keep in mind, she's a therapy dog. She goes visit the police and the fire department all the time. And he's like, this dog attacked me out of nowhere. And I'm not kidding. The sheriff looks at me, looks at Peach, and just fucking laughs. Like, are we talking about the same dog? And then they're also like, so why'd you have a bat then? Like, what the fuck? Excuse me?
That vicious beast!
Yeah, the thing with the hat on it. Like, she was wearing her hat and dress that day. I'm not kidding. She was wearing... Because I have an LGBT outfit for her. Aww. So she has rainbow wings, a rainbow tutu with a rainbow heart on it, a rainbow collar that says I love my moms, because at the time when I bought it, I was... not non-binary. She has a little rainbow hat that she wears. I'll have to take a picture next time I put her in that outfit for you. Because we wear it for prides. And she was wearing that. We were just walking around because we wanted to do the big middle finger. And, you know, I ain't scared of no bitch coming up on me with my 50-pound pit bull and my scared at my asshole with Shih Tzu. And I was like, you really have the fucking nerve. Like, if my dogs didn't kick your ass, oh, I bet you I could have any day of the fucking week. I mean, this guy had to be in his 50s.
That's something that I've learned through my experience in martial arts with Taekwondo is that it doesn't matter what combat experience somebody has. It doesn't matter how tough somebody thinks they are. Age is the ultimate detractor in somebody's ability to fight. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter if you're a 10-year-old with a black belt, you're going to get your ass kicked. It doesn't matter if you're a 60-year-old with a black belt, you're going to get your ass kicked.
Well, it's also like I used to fight, like, when I was a kid. Like, this ain't my first rodeo. So I was like,
yeah,
you're really gonna come at me with a 50-pound pit bull and a person who knows how to fight? All right. I'm really sad that I didn't have press charges, but I was like, nah, I won't press charges. Yeah. Bitch came at me with a bat. I should have done it. I would have pressed charges if that asshole went after my dog and was like, euthanize her. He actually did tell them to kill her.
Wow.
And I was like, over my dead body. I die before this dog dies. You wanna know how many Instagram followers this dog got? She gonna come.
Yeah.
You know how many Twitch fans? You know how many Twitch fans she's got? She's more popular than me on my own goddamn stream. Do not look for Peach's thing. You have to find her Instagram. It has pictures of me on it, so there's a mystery egg for you. So here's another question that kind of lies in what we got here. What is a dead name? Because for the longest time before I was educated, I didn't know what that was.
Oh, a dead name is... usually it is the name that you are also given at birth. That it's, as well as, you know, stuff like trans and cis, it's a name that you no longer go by, thus being dead. That is a term used to refer to you that is no longer valid.
So, and it's also just like, you don't want to be called that at all. Like, it's dead to you.
Yes.
Like, it's dead with a soul, no soul. It's gone.
Yes. The point of it being a dead name is that it is, you know, it is supposed to be gone and buried and put away forever.
So when a child's born, what are your thoughts on the naming of that child? Like, should it be on a... Like, somebody was talking about how maybe it should like they really shouldn't have a legal name until they're like 10, 13 years old. If they decide that they're transgender, non-binary, or whatever. So it's not so much on the legal system.
This is a complicated take, but this is my whole take on it.
Okay.
Most people, when they are born, are going to identify with the name and the gender that they are given.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that I don't think it's a bad thing to give a child a name and have an assigned gender at birth, because most people will stick with it. But we need to have the conversation more open as they grow older, and better education as they grow older for them if they decide that they don't identify with it, that it's easier for them if they realize that they don't, and if they decide to change that, then that right now it wouldn't be an issue of them having a name from birth and a legal name from birth, but making it as easy and open a process if they decide to change it at any point. Whereas now, you might think that the better option could be to just start from birth, to leave that option open-ended at the very end of that line. But you got to have a legal name and legal descriptors for everything.
Right.
The government wants their information. The only reason why that is an issue now is because we don't have education about it, and we have extremely convoluted processes to get it changed, that it becomes any issue at all.
Yeah. See, I always thought that maybe, I don't know, because maybe naming the kid something that's just gender neutral until they're a certain age, I don't know. But that is a very good take on it. I do think it should be easier to change your name, though, because it's your name. You know what I mean? Like, I get for legal reasons why it's super complicated and hard to change all your legal documents and shit, but like, I do think they should make it an easier way. So I've always thought that if I ever had a kid, I would name them something non-binary, or not non-binary, gender neutral, so that way it's either one depending what they are. Do you have any questions for me so far? Anything you would like to ask?
Whew. That's gonna be a big old goose egg.
If you don't, I have other questions. Mia?
Yeah, I don't have any questions.
Okay. So this is a question that I don't know if it's the right way to ask it. So if I ask it wrong, I very much apologize.
All right.
So when did you have a time that you knew that you weren't comfortable with who you were, or you know what I mean? Like, when did you know that you were kind of trans, or did you know, or was it always there?
So, for some people, it can be that they have it, like, they'll just know, like, straight out from childhood. But for me, I had a very kind of winding road with it, because I am a very forgetful person. And so sometimes I would have, this was a years-long process, where I would think about it, and I would think just like, what is my gender? And like think about it for like a couple hours, and then like a week would pass, and I would forget I ever talked about it, and I'd have that same line of thought years later, just forgetting I already thought about it to myself before. And I had I used to see a counselor about I guess like a year and a half ago, and I brought it up to that counselor. This was in late 2019. I was like, I don't think I identify with my assigned gender. And they were like, oh, okay. And I was like, I didn't see any of there weren't any warning signs or anything before this. I didn't see I don't know how I ever got to this, because I didn't feel very validated in it when I came to that conclusion. Because I was like, but like, I feel this way now, but I don't think I've always felt this way. And then months after that, I went cleaning my room, and I found a journal that I had over like the past couple years, and I would just flip through it, and I would just see like once every like few months, just like, I'm thinking about my gender again. I was like, oh, I guess I did think about it at some point, and I just forgot that I did think about it. It wasn't like a constantly present thing that I was, because this is like the big distinction that a lot of people have between like, if you're trying to figure out if you're trans or not, is like, one question is just like, how do you experience gender? And for a lot of cis people, they just don't experience it at all. And so, for me, I just kept forgetting when I would experience it, and then months later be like, just like, this is the first time it's ever happened. And so it took me years to answer the one line of thought.
I honestly think I was the same way when I was thinking about being non-binary. Because growing up, I was always like, I don't like that label. But my thing is, a lot of it's just labeling. I don't like being labeled. Or like, I don't like being put in a box, if that makes sense. Ignore the fact that I'm currently in a box right now. For me, it was always like, I mean, it's fine if you call me that, but I don't think I like being called that. And it's always been like, I've never wanted, like, I've just felt like a blank slate. If that makes any sense. It's really hard to explain. Because I just feel like I just want to be that blank slate.
So would you say on sort of that idea of like experiencing gender, do you then experience the lack thereof?
Yeah, like I just don't see it. Like, if that makes any sense. Like, I just don't...
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I just don't see it. Like, I don't feel like I'm a man. I don't feel like I'm a female. I just feel like I'm there. Like, I had had this talk with Ash where, you know, I don't remember how we got on topic, but it was something of, like, what would you want as genitals? And I was like, nothing.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely nothing. Like, I just want to be a blank slate. I don't want boobs. I don't want butt. I don't want any genitalia. I just want blank.
I want to be a family-friendly action figure.
Yes, exactly. That was such a good analogy. I'm using that now. I'm forever stealing that. Oh, and something I think that we didn't... I know this is more focused on trans, but something I didn't talk about is that we should probably explain what pansexual is for those who don't know. So pansexual, and how I always do this, and please laugh at my joke.
Okay.
If you identified as a tree and you had a nice personality, I'd still smash.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what you identify as. Like, I will like you for who you are, not what you are.
I guess in more eloquent terms, it is the attraction to individuals, either regardless or all-encompassing of gender.
Everyone always asks me what that means. Because, and, like, the whole argument bisexual and pansexual is crazy to me. Because it's just, like, again, I'm one of those people who just doesn't want labels. So it's like,
They are two different labels that are incredibly similar, but the distinction means a lot to a lot of people. There is a distinction between how people want to label themselves that is important to those people.
Yeah, respect the labels, guys. Don't fight about it, what they are and what they're not. I've seen that so much on like apps and social media and stuff where people are like, you're not pansexual, you're a lesbian, or it's like, if they identify as pansexual, let them identify as pansexual. The whole reason why we're doing this fight of LGBTQ stuff is so we accept one another. Don't argue about what you are. Oh, here's a good question. Some of these are just kind of basic because I didn't want to go too deep. I didn't want to push any buttons. So what's the difference, and both of us can answer this, what's the difference between sexual orientation and gender identity?
They are... Neither of those things are anything alike. They are two entirely different categories.
Totally different.
The distinction of one does not have to affect the other. Sexual identity is what you are attracted to, and gender identity is how you see yourself. That is how you identify yourself. And sexual identity is how you identify anywhere from romantic, sexual, platonic partners.
Yeah, it's just, Mia just basically explained everything. You don't need me here. I'm just gonna go. Goodbye. It was a good podcast, Mia. You can run it now. I'm gonna go. So, have you ever been picked on or discriminated against for being trans?
I was gonna say no, because not really in like not person, but online. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes.
I'm sure.
It was the entire reason why I left Twitch in the first place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because every single time that I would go live, I would always have every single stream. I would always have like multiple people that would come in every time, and sometimes it would be large groups of them that would just like come in, and then they would just drop as many just as many bigoted remarks as possible and as many transphobic things for the purpose of just like straight up trying to just ruin my life. And that was all they came in for, was just for their own amusement, was just to be transphobic and bully me.
Jeez.
And that's why I had a community Discord that I had to completely nuke because it just got completely filled up. Everybody like a bunch of people joined that were all from like hate groups that just completely just bombarded the whole server, and I had to nuke the whole thing. And so that's why I completely shifted off of Twitch, because dealing with those types of things it's hard enough to deal with those things already. It's so much worse to have to deal with it while you're live trying to make content.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
Like a lot of my stream would just be having to deal with that, and I was not gonna put up with that any longer. And I moved to YouTube.
There's no reason why you should be fucking having to deal with that.
Yeah.
That's fucking bullshit. I don't understand. That's something I cannot understand. Is just taking the fucking time to find these people, watch their stream and talk shit, and then taking the time to join their Discord. Do you not have a fucking life? Like, go cry to your mom about it, man.
It's very just pathetic. And I don't have any sympathy for anybody like that or people who associate with people like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Like, it's so crazy that you would take the time out of your day to go fucking be an asshole. Like, excuse me. Like, shit. Like, one of my favorite Taylor Swift song, No One At Me, okay? One of the quotes in her song was like, "Shade never made anyone less gay." Like, damn. Speaking truth. Yeah. Speaking fucking truth. In fact, that might even make me gayer. Like,
yeah.
Come at me. I want to be petty about it now. It's on.
Things like that often, if it, like, you know, a little bit of, like, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, but it's like the more that things like that, if you can get past, like, something like that, if you can get through an experience like that, it'll often just, like, strengthen your confidence in your identity. That you're just like, it's like, man, I'm so much myself that people hate me for it. That's a good sign. Yeah,
I'm all up. Oh, wrong face. I put
treat that as a good sign that you're doing something right.
Yeah,
and that everything that you're doing is all right. If people are going to hate you for existing,
like, you don't have to agree. You know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna spread the gay. We're not gonna spread anything. God, can you believe back in the day they used to think gay was a virus?
Yeah, they saw it as like a actual like illness.
Like, what the fuck?
There is a very fascinating thing about how people think that it's like the more open that LGBT things are in public, that it's like making more people gay, just like kind of like a converting kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But they'll look at like a graph, they'll look at a chart, or like a graph over like the past like 50 years, and they'll see on it, like, you know, in a poll, like how many Americans identify as gay or LGBT, and the bar will be very, very low. And then you'll see at moments where like stuff starts happening with civil rights, that number of how many people start identifying that way, it starts to rise until it kind of plateaus, how it is now, where we're kind of at a bit of a plateau of how many people identify as LGBT. And you could look at that as just like, look, it's on the rise, and they're converting more people, it's becoming a popular thing. But the way that it plateaus and it hasn't been really growing, it's in the same way that there used to be, it's like a pretty much identical graph to people that would like, it used to also be a shamed thing to be left-handed. And so people would not admit to being left-handed if asked. And just like they would also have polls of how many people were left-handed. And it's almost an identical graph of when like the social stigma of being left-handed started to phase out. It rose really quickly, and then it plateaued. It wasn't that people were becoming left-handed. It was just that there was already an amount of left-handed people that were not being counted on the graph before.
Yeah, it's just people becoming more comfortable and feeling like they can be open about who they are. Like, it's not, again, not catching the gay. That just, that irks me. Especially people walking on the side of the street to avoid me. Like, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't understand.
You're gonna catch COVID by teen.
I don't know what you're fucking gonna do. Go look on the other side of the goddamn... it's one thing when it's my pit bull next to me. It's another thing when it's just me. I'm like, what? So, from your experience, and obviously I've gone through this a couple times myself, what's the best way someone can handle when they're coming out as trans? So, like, say you're telling me that you're coming out as trans for the first time. What is a good reaction, you think, that would be helpful for their growth?
Yeah, there isn't like a set good reaction, but there are absolutely bad reaction.
Right.
People are going to respond positively to different things, but people will usually respond negatively to the same things.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that you just never say this to somebody is, I already knew, or I already figured that out, or whatever. Anything of that sort that like invalidates their whole process of like building the courage to tell that person is like, oh well, I already knew. A good thing is just I think if you want to be a bit funny about it, and like if it's a lighthearted thing, congratulations on your gender is a pretty good line to drop.
That is a good one. So like being a parent, for any adults and parents listening that may have this issue come in, what do you think, like, how can they help with the process? Like, is it just acceptance, or is doing what they need done, getting them on what they need, or...
Yeah. There needs to be acceptance and the willingness to like assist the transition, the change. Or if it's sexual identity, then acceptance will usually be as far as you have to go, because you don't have to do anything if your child says that they're gay. You're just like, oh, well, cool.
Yeah, like there's just, yeah, I get that.
You don't have to, yeah, there's no further steps of that usually. If your child is, if they tell you about a change in gender identity, the best things that you can do is, one, practice. If they have new name, new pronouns, everything, practice. And then get that solid in your brain. And if you are still like their legal guardian, and you have like their medical life is kind of like all of their like everything that they can do with like doctors and everything is controlled by you, the best thing that you can do is, if they want to transition, then help them on that road. Get them started, because you are in control of everything doctors say and do to them. Just help them in their process if they need it. Like stuff, name changes, transition, everything. They are going to, if your child is going through that, they need you. They can't do those things on their own.
Another question I had, because this is me looking outside looking in, because I haven't got to go through this, and I don't know what it's like to go through this other than the slight little bit you get from being non-binary. It's like, as an adult, or as a parent, here we go. Is it good to have, like, obviously it's good to have talks, about being open about this kind of thing and that, but is it good to ask them if they're, gonna come out, or if they're feeling like they're more masculine or feminine, or is it better to just let them kind of feel they should do it themselves?
I think they should do it themselves on their own time. But the one thing that parents can't do there, leave the option open and on the table.
Okay.
Make sure it's a welcoming environment to allow that to happen.
Yeah, because this is completely me from the outside looking in. I obviously don't know what it's like or what it's there, and if I ever had a kid, I would very much like to know what's good for me to do. Because for me, I would feel like I'd be like, okay, you can tell me anything, whatever you need to do. You know what I mean? It's for me, yeah. It's hard to understand what I would, because obviously I'm very, tell me anything, I'm always going to accept you no matter what. But I would always feel like I'd have to be like, hey, it's okay, you can tell me whatever you want, but I feel like probably pushing them to tell you is probably going to be more negative than positive.
Yeah, the key thing of building a positive environment to allow that to happen, that exchange to happen, is that it usually will not be comfortable enough if your child generally knows that you love them, then they'll know that you love them. But as many specifics as you can support, the better. If you just say, I love my child and I support them and everything that they do, some people will take that and that'll be enough for them to be comfortable enough around their parents. But for others, you might need a little bit more kind of proof in the pudding of what topics are, because everybody does, there is absolutely like an upper limit of how much some people tolerate that you might think is there, but you don't know for certain. And most people don't know like their parents' kind of limits on that before they come out. And so it's like if you make it known, if in the environment that you're creating, you make it publicly known that you are in support of like LGBT rights, or in support of just like whatever gender identity, sexuality, everything in general. It's like the cheat code of making your child more comfortable.
I erased the question I had. God damn it. What are the views, like, what would you like to change with views on trans? Like, just how the community views them, how people in general views trans?
That's a thick question.
Yeah, I thought that was a good one, because, I would like to know what I can do to better, more acceptance and things like that. Because I think you should treat everybody normally, instead of, whoa, look, this person, support them. And, like, obviously you want to support them, you want to cheer them on, but for me, personally, I would be like, can you just treat me like normal? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That is one very important thing, is that kind of, there's like an alienation to that, that I've seen, usually around a lot of different, like LGBT identities. There will be like specific individual problems of alienation in each of those, like in each acronym of that, each letter of that. One thing that I've noticed a lot recently, trans specific, is this was when there was the International Women's Month or Day, but I saw people that I'll call it toxic inclusivity, because I saw when it was International Women's Day, I saw people trending it and saying like women, but with an X instead of an E. And I was like, what is up with Wimixin? And the answer I found to that was that it's a term that goes around now when people want to refer to women, including trans women. But
wow.
My problem with that is that you are inventing a new word to include somebody who should already fall under the original word.
Yeah, I feel like that's not cool.
You are not doing more to include them. You are just creating a separate room for them to be in.
Yeah, because that's defeating the purpose.
Yeah. You're not including them in what's already there. You're making something different to say that you're including them. Yeah. When it's really only so that way it can affect them and nobody else. Yeah,
like, that just seems like common sense to me. Just, they're women. What? Someone had asked me before what it's like to be, quotations, comfortable in my skin, because obviously in some sorts I'm not. Which, you know how hard it is to find a cisgender straight person?
Yeah.
God, the struggle. So I guess I'll answer that question as best I can. There's really just no... I can't answer that question because I'm not comfortable in my skin. So I would love to know what that's like.
Yeah.
Like, please explain. Comments, the YouTube comments, explain. I'd love to hear that because I do want that insight.
I don't think I have met anybody in the past couple years that like I'm friends with now that was not either LGBT or had a mental illness.
Yeah.
And so I don't know any human beings out there that are just completely just like default, just like,
Just
oh yeah, I'm
basic
fine.
average Joe. Like, what's that like?
Yeah,
What's that like being socially accepted?
you need to find a John Doe.
Yeah, hey, anyone know anybody that's cisgender, straight, and doesn't have any mental health issues? I would love to interview them.
They're probably in the woods in Siberia somewhere.
No, they're actually spies. Instead of the birds being swapped out for the bourgeoisie, it's the straight, cis, no
All of the
issues.
straight people died in 1986 due to Reagan killing them.
Oh shit, that's a joke, by the way, for anybody who's gonna come at me.
Yes.
It's a joke. It's 100% a joke. Future Mia, put big bold words. That's a joke.
Warning, joke.
So I'm really chill with people calling me whatever. Like, I'm not gonna get on their case. Maybe I should, but I also just am just a really chill person, as you probably know. But every time someone calls me they, them, I'm like, yeah, happiness. I'm like, oh, her, oh, okay, that's fine, it's whatever. Like, my coworkers have so issues. Like, there's a few of them that are legitimately trying, and there's a couple of them that are just like, eh. Well, I mean, they're at least they're still nice to me and everything. They're not jerks, and they openly listen to they're gonna be listening to this podcast. Hi, girls, I love you. But yeah, they're really cool. See, that's another thing. Like, you don't have to agree with my views. You can do what they do and just nod your head and walk on. Like,
Yeah.
your input's not needed. I hate to tell you that. Well, I think that's all I had for question-wise. Is there anything that you would like to tell the public or make more known? LGBT friend-wise or trans-wise?
Trans-wise, very important. If you at all are knowledgeable of politics in America, as much as I wish I was not,
Oh, I know nothing about politics.
many states currently are trying to pass even further. This year has been a terrible year for anti-trans legislature. It has been a good amount of, or really a terrible amount of legislation and laws have been being passed through different levels of statewide and federal level legislation of anti-trans bills, such as one right now that is trying to stop people who are born assigned one gender, that if they are trans and they can't play in their in the sport team of their assigned gender. So if you identify as a girl, you can't play girls basketball. Even though the issue itself and the problems that are said, that it's like, if we let them do this, it'll cause all these problems in sports. They're really, in the time-proven tests that we've had so far of letting that be inclusive, there has not been any issue so far. It is such an incredibly minor issue that has gotten massively blown out by media coverage, and how just absolutely volatile the topic of trans rights always are. But if you live in a state with that is currently trying to pass anti-trans legislature, look up how to call your politicians in that state, how to call your senators, your representatives, and believe it or not, you can tell those people what you think.
Mm-hmm.
And there are resources that you can probably find for your state or even in your city that they could give you, like they could give you a pre-written text to send to their office. They could give you a script for you to read to the senator or representative if you're not comfortable bringing up the topic yourself. It is incredibly important to make your voice heard if you are involved in politics and you care about politics. Get yourself involved.
Yeah, do what Mia said. I'll probably go to actually, it's currently too early in the goddamn morning to be doing that right now, but I will probably do that tomorrow before I go to work. After I go get my ankle checked out.
What? Oh, damn.
I may have fractured my ankle again.
Oh, shit.
It's fine, I can still walk on it. It's very painful. I've also walked on 3 hairline fractures with no pain at all, so. For YouTube purposes, I am doing a charity for mental health month awareness. I didn't say that right, but y'all know what I meant. You can take a picture of the thing at the bottom left, or go to the link in the description that I will probably put. And we are raising money. We're trying to do that. It's for the whole month. I don't know when this video is going to be out. If it's not out by May, then sorry. But you can donate to the charity up there. Real easy. Also, there's limited time merch. Shameless plug. All the
You should
proceeds
get that
goes straight
merch.
there.
It's
You
good
should get
merch.
this merch. You should get it.
I've got that mouse pad on the way.
I'm getting, I'm trying to get, there's a crop top on hold for the event, the limited edition stuff that I'm trying to get.
Ooh.
I think that is all we have. I don't really have an ending. Mia normally does my endings for me because I'm very unprofessional.
Yeah, this is where the Persona music comes in.
Yeah, this is I never see you coming. Except that's the wrong one. You normally put the other one. Fuck it. You're doing that one this time. This is the Chatty Fox podcast, and this is the end of that. Go check out my other YouTube videos if you want. I don't know if this will be on Spotify or not. We'll see. Mia is my editor. Check her out at the what the YouTube's Big Wow. Big Wow Big.
Big Wow Big.
Big Wow Big. Go check it out. It's really funny. Do a video every day. The next podcast, I believe, will be LGBT as well, but this time with a... Don't remember which one I'm interviewing. There's a list. We
Go through the acronyms.
Yep, just going through the list. I haven't found a lesbian. Shit. The Chatty Fox podcast will be about multiple different things. That's why it's called Chatty. It's just going to be what I think that people need education on, what they should be talking about. So it'll go anywhere from LGBT to mental health to what game I want to play the next day. Maybe me just talking like a diary. We don't know. We'll find out. Thank you, Mia, for being my first guest.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, goodbye, stream. Say goodbye.
Bye-bye, stream.
See it coming.